Hi there, my name's Lucy and welcome to my channel. This is my first video where I'm coming to you to talk about knitting, something different to what I normally do, which is dressmaking. Dressmaking sewing is something that I've been doing since 2012 now. So I'm into my 10th year of sewing and having fun out here in my sewing room. But about two and a half months ago, I had this kind of desire, I suppose, to pick up the needles and have a go at knitting. I did knitting as a small child, I suppose. Mum taught me, as you do, and she grew up with her sisters that all knitted, as did her mother. So I've done bits of knitting before, but nothing ever substantial, never followed a pattern. And when I say I did a bit, I'm talking about things like making a scarf, nothing of interest at all. I was in my sewing room teaching a couple of ladies, and I do have to mention them because it's really important to me that they know what kind of impact they've had on me. But I was here teaching them how to sew, and we got onto the subject of knitting, and they were indeed knitters. And I mentioned it'd be quite nice to be able to one day maybe knit something like a Fair Isle jumper, because they are quite expensive to get a decent quality one from a shop. And Katie, one of the ladies here, said, well, you can do that. There's no reason why you can't. I thought it was ludicrous, you know, absolutely beyond my wildest dreams. But she did get those clogs clicking a little bit in my mind and thinking, well, I always teach in my sewing that you have to try. There's no point in wondering what if we don't give things a go. So I went down to my local yarn shop, met with Liz there, who's the owner of the Wool Loft in Gainsborough, where I live, a little rural town. And we had a really good chat, and I set my sight on a sewing book first. So that's what I want to start with by showing you. Before I go on to that though, let me tell you a little bit about me and my family. So right now I'm 45, soon to be 46, and it pains me, but you know, is what happens. I live here in my home with my husband Mark, and I have two children. One is 15, very nearly 16. That's my son Brady, and then I have a younger son Hayden, who is 10 years old, soon to be 11. They are everything to me. I love them dearly. They have no interests. Why children have no interest in my sewing and what I create, really. Other than my youngest son, he's definitely got a creative streak in him, and he does get involved in more of the creative type of art and having a go with me too, which is really nice. But I'm going to come back to talk about Hayden in a little while. I work at university as well. So I work at the University of Lincoln, and I work in health and social care, and I work with people that have got experiences, lived experiences of illness, injury, recovery, or being involved in any of our healthcare professionals. So that's a really important aspect to me as well, and my keenness to listen to people, listen to people's stories, experiences, journeys, what they've been through, because it is very impactful, and it is what makes people who they are, and that very much translates into their sewing with me too. So when they come to sew with me, I hope that they find that this is a safe space for them to come and talk to me, open up, share in a safe environment, non-judgmental environment. Hence, my name is So Pretty, So Mindful. This should be a mindful experience. So around me in this room, this is my sewing space outside. I have a converted garage. I have got some things laying around that you can just see in the background that I want to show you. The first thing I want to show you is this little darling. This is my little jar, which I painted at the Pottery in Everton. I went there with my son before Christmas for a craft session, and started painting this. And then I gifted an experience to my friend Millie, and I went along with her too, so she could paint a mug, and I completed this, and then it came back all glazed and looking lovely for me. So why do I have it here and close to hand? Well, I keep all my useful bits, the bits that we need to have close to hand. So my little snips are in there, my little stitch markers are in there that obviously are very handy. And as of yesterday, new acquisition, I got a little set of these very cute little stitch markers, which I love already, which the lady Donna that works down at the wool shop made with her own fair hands. So I love those, they're really, really cute. So yeah, I keep that really close to hand all of the time. Let me show you some of the things that I have sewn and made. Around me, there's these bags. There's 3 of them. This is bag number 2. This is bag number 1 in the distance here with the mushrooms on it and leather handles. And this is bag number 3. These bags are project bags and they are called the Firefly tote by the designer Noodlehead. I love making these. They are so ideal for my knitting. It comes in a larger size too. But this is ideal for my knitting projects because when I've got something that I'm working on, I throw everything related to that into the one bag and then they sit by my sofa all lined up. It's very cute, like a little pack of soldiers or a little family of bags. But it also means that when I go out, as I am doing later, to get these bad boy roots sorted out, I'll just pick up a bag and take it with me and off I go. Really handy. It's got a slip pocket in the front here, then the zip pocket here for me to keep my little needles in, or the stitch holders, or the little markers. Not very good with my names of what things are at the minute, I'm afraid. I'm still very much learning. And then it's got this bit that sort of rises up here to gather to give you more space, and then inside is one of my projects, and there's another pocket inside. But it also means the bag's multifunctional because I can push that inside if I want to, and it's just a little tote. So that was my bag number 2 that should have been a birthday gift for a family member, but I couldn't give it away. And then my most favourite that I just have to show you is my pinks, which is all in all of the K facet colours. So really, really strong and bold. And I put a little Rosy Cheeks label on here. Be strong, be happy. What does it say? Be strong, be happy, big you. So that's a little Rosy Cheeks label. Just to mention while I'm talking about labels, at the moment I am working with Mad Dogs Design, and they're an Instagram company that specialise in leather work. They are currently working on some branding labels for me for both my bag making that I tend to do and also for all of my wool garments. So we're going for some multicoloured, some different coloured leathers so that I can maybe choose something that's more suitable to the colour that I'm wearing. But I'm also going for some that are just with my So Pretty So Mindful logo, which is a lotus with the words handmade underneath that will then wrap around the bottom of hems, but also some longer and thin ones that will go onto the front of bag making, purses, things like that I do. So they're just some of the things that I've made, and if you want to know more, just let me know in comments below. So my first pattern, in my mother's own words, "You are stupid, Lucy." I went to the wool shop and I chose a pattern, and I bought the book because actually the book is amazing. There's a number of patterns in here. There is not one that I don't like, but you'll see this one on the front is what I'm wearing. I'm forgetting the name of it already, so let me just check that out. It is called the Emelia sweater. Here we go. And you obviously need to choose 3 coloured yarns for that. In these books, it's really good because what they show you is their range that they offer at that particular time that is most suited to these knits. And of course, they keep updating these. So you can choose what you want. Now, I had to get some help with what I needed to buy for it. So it said that I needed 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hanks. Is that the word? Hanks? I want to say skeins all the time, but I think it's a hank. So I bought 8 of those. The reason why my mother said I was crazy is because if you know Croft yarn, it's really expensive. And obviously there was a high risk that I would not succeed, and then it would be a terrible waste. Now, luckily Liz at the shop did layaway for me, so I bought half of the yarn that I needed to get me going with no commitment to buy the rest. I soon went back 2 weeks later and just bought the rest because I was just cracking on with it. The only adjustment I made to the pattern was I added more depth to my hem because it was a little narrow for me. And yeah, I mean, it was just a, do they call it a stockinette? Knit one row, purl one row. Vocabulary is terrible. I soon got it made, no problem whatsoever. And what was wonderful about it is, let me just reach for this bag here. This was the leftovers, this. So I'm thinking I can probably make something with that. I have no idea what, but I'm just going to set it aside until I get a crack of inspiration. So this was my make number one, and boy oh boy, it got the old cockles on the way, and I just wanted to get cracking from there on in. So I moved straight on to my project number two. Now that was from this book here. It's an alpaca range, and I just wanted to make, let me just show you this picture here actually, a slip over, or what I would call a tank top. Wanted to keep it really, really simple. I didn't want it to be an expensive make. I'd already spent a lot of money on this yarn, and I was buying things like needles and stitch holders, and there were just things like coming out of the woodwork that I needed. So I needed this to be low cost. So let me show you what I made. It's just hanging up here. So let me grab it. This was it. I don't remember what the yarn was, but it's incredibly soft, very fluffy. I think it cost me about £10, something in the region of that, to make this. It's had loads and loads of wear. I wear this constantly because it is so flipping warm. I am really, really cold-blooded. I put this on over the top of my denim shirt and I'm cooking. And that is absolutely what we want while these energy prices are on the rise. So, I mean, it didn't take me long to make that. So, and it was low cost, no problems, 2 balls, absolutely no waste. If I had a thread of 1 metre long, that was probably about it, to be honest with you. So yeah, delighted with that. It is far from perfect, but it's perfect enough for me on the journey that I'm on right now. Just gonna hang it back up again. So the next thing that happened for me was I met with my pal Millie, and we had a bit of a chat about these subscription boxes that you can get. I did well, I won't say which one it was, but I did subscribe to one, and I was a little papa about it, really. They cost a lot of money. She buys them too, whether they're beauty products or whatever. And she said to me that she tends to find that more often than not now, the things that she gets in them aren't really up her street because the person that's sending them doesn't know you as an individual. And for me, if I receive fabric that's the wrong colour, then I'm not going to wear it, am I? And then it just feels a little redundant. So we talked about buying each other a gift box for the month of November. And we set a budget and off we went. Let me show you one of the things that she bought me. It's here. It's a legend planner. I'd never heard of them before, but she said to me that she got it for me because she knew I was, or she felt that I was a very reflective person. And it's very much like a diary system, I suppose, but not a bullet journal. I would say it's not that. And there's no dates in it, but it helps you set goals, meaningful goals. And for me, I loved the idea, but I couldn't think how I'd use it. And then, I don't know, a couple of weeks after receiving it, I had an idea. And that was, I would start detailing the things that I would like to make on my sewing journey, because I do see myself as a novice in this, and I wanted to follow my progression, which I'd never captured with my sewing particularly, because I wasn't really on social media at that time. So I thought this would be a nice way of capturing it. But what I also wanted to do was not make a list of the things I wanted to make. I wanted to document what I'd like to make, why I wanted to make it, and what reward I would get from that make in particular. So the first 3 things that I wrote made it in here. And this will help me now tell you a little bit more about what I've made. So the first thing that I wanted to make was socks. And again, this was with my friend that bought me this. We both went off down to our local wool shop again and decided, we're going to make socks, Liz. Can you help us? What do we need? Sell me the goods. And she directed us to the Wynwick Mums pattern, which is online. So we went away and had a look at that. We both bought a circular needle. We bought a ball of the West Yorkshire Spinners yarn. And let me just show you. Here we go. It was this colourway. I don't know what it was called. I apologise for that. So that's the one that I came away with. My journey was far from smooth, but my determination was fierce. I did not get on with the circular needle. I fought with it, but I was just so dissatisfied. When I was joining the loops together, although I'd done 2 rows on the flat, when I joined them, I still felt like that a ladder was starting to emerge the more I knitted down. So I kept pulling it all back off again, wasn't happy at all. I think I attempted in the region of 15 times over a period of time to make this work, and I wasn't getting any further. So I reverted to the flat needle method. I think that's what it's called. I used 2 long needles and I made my first sock. Now, I probably should have put this onto a sock block to show you, but we're warts and all, and there's no judgment. I also, in my inexperience, decided it needed to be longer in the foot, so I added on quite a bit. So this looks like the most ridiculous sock you'd ever want to see. But I told myself this wasn't about the finished product. This was about understanding how to read the pattern, understanding the process, and understanding what each of those elements were. So what did it mean to turn the heel? It means nothing to me. It does now. So it was about getting through the journey, getting to an end product, and then reflecting. So this was my first sock. So it is seamed. It is a seamed sock because it had to be sewn together. It's got a seam toe there, so we can feel that when we're wearing it. And there's a seam down one of the sides. It's not a bad attempt. It's not, but it is far, far, far away from perfect too. So I decided to move on and try out the DP ends. So anyway, the socks have been made, and my little boy tried them on. He's quite sensory, hates seams and things like that. And he complains such a lot about socks. And he just fell in love. And the order went directly into my in tray. I want purple socks. So that's on my to-do list. I have started them already, but I'll move on to that a little bit later on in the video. So going back to my legend planner, in this is one of my items. It is to knit my dad some socks for his birthday. Sorry, Dad, if you are watching, the surprise is out there. But the reason why I want to make them is because he puts holes into his socks all of the time. And I just wondered if making them, by knitting them myself, whether they'll just last that little bit better and longer for him. Moving on through my legend planner then, that takes me to the Emelia crop top. I think I said that right, but I will put details down below for you to have a look at. This is a pattern that was designed by Sew Willow Patterns, with the owner being a lady called Henry. I loved it when I saw it on her grid and knew that I had to make it, and it was a really, really good introduction to trying out cable knit as well. So the reason why I wrote that in my legend planner was Henry looks beautiful in hers and she looks content. I want to feel like that too. So that was my reason for knitting it. So let me show you my make. So this is it. Really, really cute top in the most beautiful wool. Let me tell you about the wool. So I've got it just here. I needed, I think it was 7 of these. It's drops, it's Nepal unicolor, and it's wool and alpaca. That's it there. What's this shade called? I don't know what it's called, but it's 6314. and it's actually a really nice subtle, somewhere between a blue and a purple tone, I would say. It is so soft. I love it. And that's my leftovers that I got from that. So yeah, that's my top. It's got the cable, or the horseshoe cable, on the front and the back. The back is much better than the front. Let me show you that instead. Much neater. I mastered these stitches by then. I was getting myself confused when I was working on this side, and I got some little blippy areas. But as normal, not going to worry about these things. It's only my third knit at that third jumper, I suppose, I've made in, you know, just a couple of months when all said and done. So that's a jumper that I made there, and I'm going to be buying some more of this when I go to visit Henry next week, so I can make it in another colour, because it's beautiful and warm and it looks lovely over dresses, shirts, things like that. So yeah, that's got me to that area there. Ballet cardigan, again, it's in my legend planner. I wanted to make a ballet cardigan for my niece Eleanor. She's going to be 9 in February. I think she's 9. And again, the reasons why I wanted to do it is because it provoked a memory when I saw the pattern. It provoked a memory in me of when my mum knitted me a ballet cardigan in bottle green. So let me show you where I'm at with that. So I don't have the pattern out here to show you, but let me just show you this. It's kind of in construction. I've got a bit bored with it. But these are the colours that I've used. So I've gone for this old rose colour, and then just quite a baby pink colour there. I've done random bands. They don't match as they go around. Like a bit of random every now and again. She won't be wearing it to her ballet. It will be for at home and knocking around. So all I need to do is finish off the neckbands around the back, open up the seams because I sewed it closed and I should have left a hole, and add some ribbon ties. That's all I need to do, but I can't be bothered. But I'm nearly there, and it's nearly her birthday, so it will be done. So that's that project as well. Let me tell you about some of the things that oh yeah, one more thing that I've been working on as well is the Ellan sweater from this book that I showed you earlier today. That's in the pink project bag, and I am loving this fabric so much, the way it's coming up, and I've learned something new again. So I've done the back panel already. This is the front. Oh, love it. Absolutely love what I've managed to create here. And if only you could touch it. It is so soft. It's the Creative Soft Knits, which I'm going to show you a little bit more of it in just a moment. I'm going to wear this tons. I know I am. I really, really know that I am. It's just such a soft yarn. Yeah, soft wool Aran. I paid £1.95 per ball. £1.95. Amazing. And it's soft and it's beautiful. And it's going to look amazing, and I'm a happy girl with that. So now I'm going to move on to some acquisitions that I have obtained over the recent weeks. Namely yesterday, really, if I'm honest with you. I got a lovely, lovely gift voucher for my Christmas present off some family members, which was very well received, I can tell you. So the first thing that I just want to tell you that I did receive recently is actually off my friend, and the sentiment behind this really. My friend Sue, I call her Crazy Sue. Her mum sadly recently passed, and she was a lovely, lovely lady. We called her Nana Rose, and she was just a wonderful person. I got the great, great pleasure of making her some clothing to see her through her last few months, really, to give her a bit more comfort. And she was in fact buried in one of the dresses, which Sue thought I'd be really upset about, but you know, I was honoured, absolutely honoured that they had valued it that much. It meant an awful lot. And Nana Rose would have been dead proud of me, I think, that I have, you know, picked up the yarn just like she did too. And so her mum's Crazy Sue, she gave me her hook set, which might not mean a lot to many people, but it means an awful lot to me. And although this is crochet, not knitting, the one tip that I have learned is keep them close. Because yeah, when I dropped my first few stitches, I went rushing down to the wool shop and Liz said, let me teach you how. You just get a crochet hook and this is how you do it. So I keep these close by all of the time. So I did want to mention that to you. Of course, I got my sock blocks. They're in the background there in this little craft bag that I also made. And I also got some Zandra Rhodes. I love Zandra Rhodes. Sock yarn as well. So that'll be for a pair of socks for me at some point, but I don't know when, because my list is starting to build a little bit. So I got those two. What else did I get? Now let me show you. Like I mentioned, my son said that he would like some purple socks. So I went online to have a look at yarns and there was just a minefield. So I decided to hang fire, go to my local, see what was there. Was there anything in the sale? And because obviously it cost about £7, something like that, to buy a ball. And Liz pulled out the magic again, went into her sale bucket. She went delving deep to the bottom. It was quite funny actually. And she found me 2 balls of yarn. And it's actually this, how do I pronounce it? Adriaphil Calza socks. And it is a, well, I'm guessing it's a 4-ply because I'm starting to learn a little bit about my plies now. But anyway, it's here. And guess what? I brought it home and I got myself started. So following the Wynwick mums again, but I have reduced the number of stitches because they are for my little boy. That's a little bit I've just got to sew together. Let me not show you that bit. There. And I bought another colour to go with them on the heels and the cuffs and the toes. And he said, no, purple. I want purple socks. So I am just making purple socks. So 2 little balls of this. It cost me £2. £2. £2 to make a pair of socks for my son that he will wear. Very excited. Let me show you what else I bought, because I bought some other yarn for socks as well. So I also managed to get hold of, in the same magic bucket, this one too. Beautiful. I managed to get 2 of these, and I also picked up this ball here because I thought that would look quite nice as a little bit of a contrast around the toe. So that's a merino double knit, but it's extra fine. And I think that should look quite smashing put together. The other sock yarn that I bought, so they were £1 each as well. And then the other, very excited about this. I've been looking at online the night before. So I was really delighted to see 2 balls of this floating around. And it's the Red Leicester double knit, and it's a West Yorkshire Spinners. And I think that's absolutely beautiful. That is definitely going to be a pair of socks. But I'm going to pair it up with this, I think, which I also wanted to show you. Now this is sheep's wool that I got from a charity shop. £1. How exciting. So again, I did ask Liz, could she assess it for me? And she worked out what it was. And she even said there might be a little bit of mohair in there as well. So I think these are going to be a luxury pair of socks, which I'm very, very excited about. I also mentioned that I bought the little stitch markers. Let me show you them again. And there's a nice little set of those I've got in different colours. So I think there's one more thing that I bought. How could I forget this? I bought my next Croft book because look at that. That has my name all over it. Let me see. And I like the fact that this is more of a family knit book, so I can get some more use out of this for my wider family. I just love that detail at the top. And, you know, I'm not scared. So I reached straight back into that bucket again for this creative soft wool because I think it's beautiful. And blue is my favourite tone. So I got a blue, this one here. And I'm going to put that accent detail on the collar in this colour here. And I think that is going to take me right into spring, maybe into the summer. So that's everything that I've bought recently, and I've still got money left on my gift voucher. So yeah, I've made a few things. I have got a few projects on the go, and I've definitely bought an awful lot. I hope you found that useful. Like I say, this is the start of my journey. I'm hoping it will be a long journey, and I'm hoping that you might want to follow me as I learn and gain new skills. I will have questions, I'll have hiccups, I'll need help, but we are a community together, and I hope that we can share those experiences together along the way. If you're interested in my sewing, please do keep following me, maybe subscribe to my channel. I've got a video coming up very soon to talk about my sewing highlights, I suppose, over 2021, which hopefully you'll find of interest. So maybe you want to give me a subscribe, like, ring the notification bell so you know what's happening and what's dropping into your inbox. And thank you for taking the time to watch my video today. Bye.